Hi, Max Tyack from Abstract Automation here. I've done dozens, if not hundreds, of CRM deployments throughout my career. And so what I want to do in this video is for anybody who's new to setting up a CRM, I want to detail 5 essential things that you should be doing starting on day one with your new CRM system. So let's break it down. So here we have Zoho CRM, and the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you set up your users. So we're going into the setup area and to the users section. And what I mean by setting up users is not just adding your users so that they can log into the system, but what I like to see people do is fill out the complete information on the user profile. So things like phone numbers, titles, website for your business, any nicknames, date of birth you can skip, but any specific address information that you may want to fill out, because all of these details on your user accounts can be pulled into email templates in the system at a future date. So I like to see that happen. I also like to see a picture profile of each user. It's nice when you're using a system and you're looking at, say, a note or a list of tasks. When you've got a little person's profile picture right next to that item, you immediately can tell who did it or who's responsible for it. It's so much faster than reading a name, and it's just a little bit more pleasurable to work in a system that has those picture profiles, in my opinion. So set up your user accounts with all the details. Next thing you want to do as far as user accounts is make sure that you have your security set up the way that you need it. So you'll have to configure your custom profiles. Zoho comes out of the box with an administrator profile and a standard profile. The administrator profile is generally way too much stuff that you want to give your average user, and the standard profile often falls a little bit short of what a typical power user needs. So you can clone these two profiles and make some changes to them and give them a custom name and then assign them accordingly to your users. If you are planning on deploying a sort of data hierarchy in the system, meaning that you don't want all users to see all data, so maybe you would like to only allow a particular sales rep to see their own territory of accounts or something along those lines. That involves setting up your roles in the system and assigning hierarchies throughout your organization and sharing rules. That's a little bit more complex. I'm not going to dive into that on this session, but just so you know, that's where it is, and you can do a little research if you want. So there's your user setup. Next thing, modules and fields. So on the top of your Zoho CRM are all of the tabs or modules, leads, contacts, accounts, and so forth. And there's a whole bunch more that wrap around the listing here, as you can see. Now, there are very few companies that would use all of these modules in Zoho CRM. So what you want to do is you want to start getting rid of the clutter. The system will be more efficient if users only see what they need to see. And so what I suggest is going into your setup, going into your modules and fields. There's an organize modules button here, and that will let you turn off modules that you do not need to have your users see. Now, one thing about that is some of these modules, when you get Zoho initially, are pre-configured and tied to blueprints and processes and other configurations in the system, and so you can't just turn them off straight away. You have to sort of find the things that are hooked into those modules and disable those things, and then you can disable or hide those modules. But you should be able to chase down those issues and hide what you want to hide in the system. Similarly, when you look at the fields in a particular module, you want to get rid of the fields that are fields that you're never going to use, right? So here is a lead record in the system, and we have all of the out-of-the-box fields here, like Skype ID, Twitter handle, a second email address, annual revenue. So these are some fields that you really may not need in your CRM or care about. And so get them off the screen. You know, go into your module layout and just simply find the field that you want to get rid of, click the little dot here and remove that field. So that doesn't permanently delete the field. You cannot permanently delete fields that are system fields. It will get them sort of out of the screen and they'll be hidden here in this unused fields area. Then of course proceed to create the custom fields that you do need to manage your business in the module design. Lastly, as far as modules and fields go, what you want to do is set up all of your views across the system. So every module has a series of default views like all accounts, my accounts, all tasks, open tasks, and so forth. You have control over managing these views, what columns you want to see in the views, whether you want to see those columns to the left or to the right. And so you want to go through here, and these are public views. So this means that you as the administrator can come in here, change these views, and your changes will apply to everybody throughout the organization. Now users can still have their own custom views that they can manage themselves, but these are sort of company-wide views that you should try to pay attention to and arrange best as possible right out of the gate. Same goes for your homepage. So the homepage is an incredibly important area. It's what everybody sees when they land in Zoho CRM first thing in the morning, and they're going to come back to this homepage multiple times throughout the day. So yes, Zoho gives us a pretty nice start here with showing us what they think we might want to see on a regular basis, but there may be better views and better dashboard components that would be more beneficial for you to have on your homepage. A user can have their own private homepage. The user themselves can modify the components on that homepage. However, you can create shared homepages for a team or for company-wide, and you can set that up for everybody across the board rather than each person having to do that themselves. So I strongly suggest investing some time in configuring your home pages. Next thing, email. So email these days, of course, is a critical part of business. So why not get your emails into the CRM and a part of the CRM as much as possible? So there's multiple aspects of email that I would like to point out. So first, if we go to the setup, under channels, there's an email section. Now here you can do some simple things like set up your default fonts, as well as create your email signature. I strongly suggest every user set up an email signature to make it look like what they want with their contact information. You can use placeholders or merge codes to pull that user information on the user's profile that I talked about earlier. So I suggest doing that so that you don't have to chase down users to change their information on all their signatures if something changes, like an address or phone number. I do strongly suggest that your default font should be at least 12. I would say 12 or 14 would be acceptable, but anything less than 12 is a little too tiny in my opinion, especially when we're all reading emails on our phones these days. Default font family, I strongly suggest Arial. There are some other acceptable fonts in here, but in my experience, Arial size 12 or 14 will translate best to any recipient's email app, right? Whether they're using Outlook or Gmail or an iPhone to read their emails, that Arial 12 or Arial 14 will land in that person's inbox and be a good size to be readable, not too big, and it will look nice and clean. So I do strongly suggest that. By the way, ignore this preview right here. This preview is way smaller text than an actual size that you've selected. So I don't know, it's something goofy with Zoho here, but that is not a size 12 that you're seeing on my screen. That's definitely more like a size 10. So in my opinion, their preview option here is just sort of doesn't really work right. So that's that. Set up your email signatures, set up your fonts, and then what you want to do is configure your email accounts. So most of us will use Outlook or Gmail for our email. You do have the option of using Zoho as your mail host or your mail email client, but it just seems like, the more popular thing to do is to use Outlook or Gmail. So what you can do is you can connect your Outlook or Gmail account, or really any mail account, to Zoho CRM by just coming to this area, clicking Getting Started. You would select your mail provider. Now here's another quick tip. If you are using Office 365 or Outlook 365 as a subscription from Microsoft, use the Office 365 option here. Don't use the Outlook version, okay, or the Outlook option. Most businesses will be on Office 365 that are using Outlook. The Gmail, so you pick your provider, and then there will be like a sort of walkthrough of getting it connected. You have to authenticate. I'm not going to go through those steps right now, but what that will give you is as you just do your email in Outlook or in Gmail or from your iPhone, wherever you want to do your email from, Zoho will tie into that mail account, and so that when you go into the CRM and you go to a contact, you go to a customer, there will be an email section on that record that will show you and display the emails that are in your Outlook and Gmail accounts. So you'll see emails that you've sent, emails you've received in Outlook or in Gmail to and from that contact, and you'll have an email history under that account in your CRM. So I very strongly suggest that you do that. Also, both Outlook and Gmail do have add-ons or extensions that you can install specifically for Zoho CRM, and that gives you some further management and integration between those applications in Zoho CRM right from your inbox. So you can do things like you get an email from somebody in your Outlook inbox, and that person is not yet a contact in Zoho CRM. Couple button clicks and it will create that contact as a new contact in Zoho. So it's pretty cool. You should take a look and see if you can find more information on those add-ins. Lastly, very important as far as email goes, email deliverability. So one thing that you will need to do if you plan on sending any emails to anybody from Zoho CRM is you have to set up your email authentication. Now, the reason for this is if you don't do this, when you send your emails from Zoho CRM, they will not come from your actual mail account. They will come to that recipient by way of Zoho. So the email would say, from Max Tyack at Abstract Automation, sent via Zoho or something to that effect. And the problem with that is those emails are much more likely to land in people's junk folders and spam folders. So the best thing to do is follow these steps to adding your domain and authenticating your domain. There are some steps on screen to perform these operations and take care of it. If you're not familiar with how to deal with your DNS settings on your website or web host, most people, they'll just take this information, copy, paste, send it to their web designer or web developer or IT consultant or whatever, and they'll know what to do with this. What this essentially does is it tells the world that, hey, it's okay. We know that emails are coming from Zoho sent from our email addresses. It's a validation that people's inboxes recognize, and you are much more likely to find the recipient's inbox if you do this setup, okay? Home pages, I already mentioned. And then here's my last one. Start making lists of more advanced features that you would like to eventually tackle. Okay, so this isn't actually a specific thing to do in your system, but you've set up your users, you've configured your email, you're able to manage your contact information, put in notes in the system, manage your tasks. So, if you do those basic setups that I mentioned, you're going to have a basic CRM system, okay, which is great, and that's fine. But most businesses are going to want to take things to the next level. They may want to start managing opportunities and deals, pipelines, revenue, inventory. So there's just a whole nother level that you can bring yourself to. and you're not going to get there overnight. And so what you want to do is just start making a wish list. Maybe you're not going to even look at these things for another 6 months, but put it down on paper, start setting expectations, and then start chipping away at those goals. And the next thing you know, you will have them accomplished. All right. I hope this video helps. If you're looking for help with your Zoho CRM or any other Zoho app, please contact me, Max Tyack from Abstract Automation. Have a great day.